Resistance is futile.
Boldly going where no show has gone before. This is The Week in Geek with David D. Squared and Brian Held. Heard live on News Talk 99.5 WRNO and the iHeartRadio app. Here are your hosts, Brian Held and D. Squared.
Greetings, people of Earth. This is The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm your host, D Squared with
Brian Held.
Brian Held. How the hell are you, buddy?
Man, I had a great time as a pirate on set of NCIS New Orleans this past Thursday.
No.
Yes.
Was it hard?
It indeed was.
I saw your picture on Facebook, and you had like black eyeliner and all.
That's CBS Guyliner is what it is.
Sure. We'll go with that. All right, let's set up the show real quick. Our opening segment, obviously, we'll be doing some top nerd news. We had a bunch of trailers drop during the Super Bowl that Brian watched with eager eyes.
Right.
And then our second segment, Skungy and his pick of the week, and we'll do a little Overwatch League recap. And then we had a guest, Brian. Who was it?
That was Ben Dolnick, the author of the Ghost Notebooks, came on and talked to us all about that.
All right, and then finally we'll close out the show as we always do with This Week in Geek History. All right, let's get right into it, man. All right, Brian, so what is topping us off today?
Well, did you see that the creators of Game of Thrones are getting in on the Star Wars bandwagon?
I heard about that, but is that really true?
Yeah, the showrunners David Benioff and D.B. Weiss
yes.
are going to do a new project related to Star Wars. And
is this the one that I think I did read something about it? Where it's not going to follow the Skywalker thing. It's going to be a complete offshoot.
It's going to be new material, which is
going to have White Walkers in it.
No.
No, come at me, Snow. Well, I hope they have like the Death Troopers show up where they had the zombie stormtroopers. That book was awesome.
Wait, so are you just asking for a rewrite of Game of Thrones with lightsabers?
Maybe, maybe not. But, I mean, if it's got boobs and midgets, I'm all in.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, but, I mean, I think this is, fans have been clamoring for new material.
Clamor.
And so this is...
yeah, I mean, we've talked about it at length where, they after this next, the final installment, that they're going to kind of move away from the whole Skywalker, storylines. They're going to start coming up with some new stuff. And so, I mean, look, if these guys know what they're doing, I'm not sure what else I know they've done tons of crap. Nothing is like popping to mind though. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, it can't be bad,
right? Well, hey, do you want to stay on the Star Wars vein while we're at it?
Yeah, sure.
So, interestingly enough, George Lucas popped on set for Solo.
Right, he was giving Ron Howard some directing tips.
Yeah, he was.
Like, you need a Jar Jar in this movie.
no,
sure?
They built a scene together, and so George Lucas had a little bit of influence on this film. But what's interesting is that he and Lucas and Howard go back all the way to American Graffiti.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Ron Howard was in on that, and let's see, Howard went on and directed Willow for a ride for George Lucas.
So all right. So did Lucas kind of write some of the script where, like, Anakin was like, "I hate sand. It's coarse. It gets everywhere." It's like Solo going to be like, "I hate Wookiee hair. It's itchy and it gets everywhere."
No. George Lucas just popped by set for a little bit to visit, say hi, what's going on, and then they kind of worked through a particular
Hey
scene.
guys, remember me? I started it all. I'm still relevant.
Right.
For the original trilogy.
So just to say that there's a little bit of the hand of the original creator in Solo, and of course, while we're talking about helping out on this production,
right.
Harrison Ford helped out the lead on Solo as well.
What did he do?
Alden.
It's like, just be grumpy like me.
Well, they basically kind of went off, and he gave him the entire backstory of Han Solo that George Lucas gave to him. It was kind of like nobody's heard this material before, so he's kind of passing along the torch. And I don't know, it's pretty interesting. Everybody, it was Kathleen Kennedy had expanded on what was happening with that meeting, and she said, yeah, basically he's just kind of passing that torch on and providing that information so that he completely understands Han Solo. And for as much disdain as people thought that Harrison Ford had for Star Wars, apparently he's given a lot of thought and love to that character.
Oh, now that he's dead, he's like, you know what? I changed my mind. Bring me back. I want back in. Well, you know what? While we're talking about Solo, let's talk about the trailer that dropped during the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Here, take a little listen to this.
I've been running scams on the street since I was 10. I was kicked out of the flight academy for having a mind of my own. I'm going to be a pilot. Best in the galaxy.
Hey, kid. I'm putting together a crew. You in?
That's yes. Thought we were in trouble there for a second, but it's fine. We're fine.
So you want to make a difference?
Yeah.
Trust me, you're going to love it. And which branch are you interested in joining?
I'm going to be a pilot. Best in the galaxy.
I like the recruiter for the Empire.
Right.
So what do you want to be when you grow up, kid?
Well, you know what I find interesting about this trailer is thinking about it and thinking about Rogue One.
Right.
I have more interest in the stuff outside of the trilogy films than the trilogy films. And I'm finding that to be accurate amongst the fans that I talk to, you know.
Well, I mean, that's why the whole expanded universe, all the novels were so big. I mean, you know, it's like I devoured almost all of those books. I mean, at one point when they kind of went off crazy with the organic spaceship things with whatever the hell they were called, like after the Last Jedi Order, I think is what it was.
All right.
Where they picked it all up. That was not entertaining, but I mean, all the other stuff with Thrawn, and then they had the Tales from Mos Eisley Cantina, and they had, you know, Fett. They had a bunch of great stuff where, like, Dengar was actually, you know, helping out Boba. You know, just all kinds of. That was what people wanted to see. I mean, or read anyway, because they weren't coming out with anything new, and then the prequels sure as hell didn't give us any help. You know, so but I did like, you know, we're we're fine. It's just like straight out of like A New Hope, where he's like, boring conversation anyway.
Right.
We're fine. We're all fine. How are you?
Right.
So I did like how he said that, because as soon as he said that, that image of Harrison Ford in the prison bay is what popped up. So if they can kind of recreate that magic, I think it'll be a smashing success.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right, so
do you want to stick on trailers?
Sure.
All right, what's the next trailer you got?
Well, all right, so there's a couple to choose from. We got Deadpool, we got Venom, and we got Stargate Origins. You want to do Venom first? That's the shorter one, not a whole lot of meat in that.
Yeah, go ahead and fire that up.
Everyone's got their thing. Maybe it's a breakup, a death, an accident. Whatever it is, you used to be one thing. Now, you're something else. We all have our own problems. Our own issues. Our own demons.
So now here's the thing. Venom, the director said that he was going to be leaning more towards, I think it was like Lethal Protector, or it was the series where Eddie Brock and Spidey, you know, have a truce, and he goes to San Francisco, because in the trailer they got a big picture of the Golden Gate Bridge, and so the comic book series where Eddie and Peter, you know, had a come to Jesus moment, and he moved out to San Francisco, and he there's several different storylines, and so like one was a reporter or whatever, but the crash we don't know if that's a spaceship or what that is. We don't know if the alien symbiote came that way. And there were a couple of different storylines with Eddie Brock. One where he went to war and was an amputee, and then the symbiote fixed him. Gave him his legs back. But then there was another one where he had cancer though, and that one, it cured his cancer, and so then he was good there. So, but he's going to be not really an anti-hero, more of an actual hero because he's not just a rampaging D-bag like Eddie Brock was.
Right.
So I don't know. It looks good.
And it's interesting that the, of course, real quick, just for our listeners out there, the origin of the symbiote that makes up Venom came from the original Secret Wars way back in like the 80s from Marvel Comics. And I mean, like, there's a whole narrative that's been built around it now that doesn't even apply to that original origin. Now, what I thought was interesting is there was a blonde lady in the trailer.
It's his girlfriend, I think.
And I thought for a second it might have been Gwen Stacy, but it's actually Anne Waning.
Yeah, she's a lawyer or something, like with the Life Foundation, and
she is She-Venom in Marvel Comics.
In different iterations of it, because then like the Life Foundation had like 5. Like it was kind of like the symbiote team. There's like 5 of them, they're all different colors and stuff. I don't know if Carnage was, but they had like a yellow
is that like
one.
Power Rangers?
Almost, really, because they color coded the Venoms,
Okay.
So all these symbiotes, But what was it? Agent Venom was one of them where I think that was the one where he got turned into an amputee, and Eddie Brock was really able to control the symbiote.
Interesting.
So the trailer didn't have a whole lot to go with it, But I don't know. We'll see.
That piqued my interest.
All right, Deadpool.
Yes.
Take a listen.
I was born into war, bred into it. People think they understand pain, but they have no concept of it. What's the most pain you've ever felt? Maybe the kind that leaves you more machine than man.
Wait, no, stop! What in the actual ass? Dale, why are the visual effects not done? It's a metal arm. It's not like we're trying to remove a mustache. I'll do it myself.
Poor Henry Cavill and his Superman mustache.
They're taking those pot shots at Justice League, man.
Dude, they are. It's awesome. So from that, it goes into Deadpool playing, with his action figures, not dolls. Here's this.
I'm Cable, and I'm from the future, and I like blowing up.
Pew, 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 pew. Reach for the sky!
Oh no, Sheriff Deadpool.
You're a lot taller in the...
Shut up, you little ass. Take this.
Oh! Regeneration powers, activate!
That's not something you say.
Zip it, Cable!
I got the stones to help you.
No! No biting. They're done already? Oh, wow, that was unrealistically fast. Okay. Hit it.
Your time's up, you dumb.
Well, that's just lazy writing.
When you have to bleep trailers, they're doing something right.
Look, May 18th is Deadpool 2 coming out, and I cannot wait.
And they brought back Dopinder, the taxi cab driver.
Yep, and of course everybody's flipping out because Terry Crews is in this movie. Nobody realized it, but some eagle-eyed viewers out there caught him in one brief scene.
I'm not overly happy about it because he's a member of the PC Master Race, so he's no longer. I'm not down with Terry Crews anymore.
Oh, come on!
But no, this movie is looking like it's going to be comedy gold. It's just no biting.
Well, speaking of movies coming out, and while we're in a Marvel theme, let's talk about this week. Black Panther is coming out.
Yes.
I
can't believe it's already out.
I know. I'm super excited for this. I cannot wait. And what's interesting is this is the first time a MCU movie has made it onto the cover of Time magazine.
On the cover of a Rolling Stone. Oh, no, Time?
Yeah, Time.
Why?
Because it's unprecedented. This is a movie that's heavily focused on African American and African culture in this kind of presentation. It's got a predominantly black cast. It's groundbreaking. And I find it interesting. A lot of people were like, "Hey, you forgetting about Blade?" And I researched it. Blade has never been on time. Right, and in fact, the last Marvel movie that was on time, as far as I can tell, is Spider-Man, and that wasn't part of the MCU. So,
I mean, Blade wasn't. It had a African American lead actor, but everybody else was white.
Yeah, there was a whole lot of white people up in there.
You know? But no, I mean, this looks really cool. I don't know what the hell Captain America has. I don't know, because adamantium, like, I don't know, buckler instead of a shield. It's like a real pointy buckler looking thing.
So yeah, of course, that's vibranium.
Oh, right? Vibranium. Yeah,
yes,
it's not adamantium.
And
sorry, I forgot my mystical metals.
Yeah, there you go. They got him what they had.
Yeah,
right?
well,
in fact,
this man a shield.
In fact, in the trailer, I don't know if you noticed, he's got two shields, one on each
hand.
Yeah,
right. It was weird in the slow motion thing that it looked like they were like jogging on a treadmill. They did like they were doing the fake running in that slow motion. It was like it just looked weird. It didn't look right.
It did look a little odd, but of course that we'll see that in Avengers: Infinity War Part 1. But
that trailer dropped, and it just wasn't a whole lot to it going on there, man.
No.
So all right, well, you know what? Let's knock out our first break.
All right.
And so when we get back, we're gonna maybe bring on Skungy, maybe not. I don't know. I think I fired him for real this time.
All right, we'll see.
And with Overwatch League.
Oh, yes, that's what we'll be talking about as well. Guys, stay tuned. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
Black Tie Tans, the premier mobile spray tanning professionals of New Orleans. Black Tie Tans will come to you and give you a natural glistening glow on the go. First-time customers get 20% off their first tan. Find them on Facebook at Black Tie Tans or email them at blacktitans@gmail.com to set your appointment. Going to a wedding? Going out to the club? Black Tie Tans will give you the look you need. Black Tie Tans. Tell your pale friends.
What would you do if God and the devil were playing a game and you had the winning move? The greatest time travel story ever told begins when Professor Francis Kane goes back in time to prevent the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. He blows it, gets thrown in an asylum, sells his soul to the devil, goes back to the beginning of time, takes over the entire world, gets crushed by God, then wakes up with a chance to do it all over again. Except now, he has a 5-year head start. Check out the gallery. Stay for the novels. PharaohKane.com.
Do you have a message or logo that you need the world to see? Then rely on the folks at Gretna Signworks to use their expertise to deliver your design. With over 15 years in business, Gretna Signworks can do commercial and yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, magnetic signs, vehicle graphics and lettering, and so much more. Gretna Signworks also has an exceptional network of suppliers, so no job is out of scope. Find Gretna Signworks on Facebook or visit them at 2125 Bell Chase Highway today.
Are you looking for a unique gift or geeky item? Then look no further than Silverblatt Design. They offer unparalleled etched logos in glass or stainless steel from your favorite fandoms. Silverblatt Design etches on pint glasses, tumblers, shot glasses, flasks, and more. Having trouble finding a particular logo? Silverblatt Design does custom work and gets you exactly what you're looking for. Professional attitude, great customer service, and high-quality products are available now at Silverblatt Design. Find them on Facebook or Etsy and place your order today.
This is The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now.
Inconceivable!
Follow The Week in Geek on Instagram at The Week in Geek Radio Show.
Ha ha, you fool! You fell victim to one of the classic blunders.
Here's David and Brian.
Welcome back. This is The Week in Geek. This is D Squared along with
Brian Held.
All right, man. So let's talk about Skungy, huh? We have to have a chat about him.
Do we?
Yeah.
All right.
He's nowhere to be found.
No, that's true. He is. He's got the day off, right?
forever. He's always got the day off now. Don't piss me off.
Oh, come on, Dave.
All right, fine. Let's do Skungy.
I am not what you would call a handsome man.
Skungy's Pick of the Week is brought to you by GameStop and ThinkGeek.com.
Skungy's Pick of the Week.
He might be an idiot savant.
Woohoo! Skungy, what's shaking bacon?
Actually, we don't have Skungy this week.
Oh, thank God. So happy day.
So he does have the day off. What we want to air instead is a few weeks ago, I stopped by the MLG event that was here in New Orleans, and we got some interview audio with Kevin Flynn. He is the director for the Call of Duty World League. You want to fire that up?
Yeah, sure. Here we go.
This is Brian Held with the Week in Geek radio show on News Talk 99.5 WRNO, and I'm joined by Kevin Flynn, director of Call of Duty Esports, the World League, right?
Yeah. Welcome to CWO New Orleans. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. I mean, it's such a treat for us to get MLG to stop by. We saw you guys come down here a couple of years ago, and now you're back. What brings you to New Orleans? Why is this a hub for you guys?
Well, a few years ago we came with Call of Duty. Since then we've established the Call of Duty World League, which is what we call the CWL. And nice to come back to somewhere that's familiar, somewhere where we know the city wants to have us, and somewhere we know that fans and players can have a great time.
So, esports has slowly been building over the years as a bigger and a larger entity, right? Something that we, hopefully as geeks, will rival that of football and soccer and all that good stuff. How's things going for you? How is Call of Duty breaking into that space?
Well, we've had competitive Call of Duty for many years. So even going back to our first ever COD XP, which is almost 7 years ago now. So we've been established for a while. What we've done since then is add a bit more structure, a bit more organisation. The players play for a lot more money now than they used to. And we're delivering moments like this weekend all through the calendar year where hundreds of fans and players come together. And really they come to compete at the highest level, but also celebrate Call of Duty and our esport. So it's been a fun ride.
Well, you bring up a really good point, right? As you fans from all over, it doesn't matter where you're from, can come to this event, can check it out. But more importantly, this is really open to anybody. If you're a gamer who's good at this game, you could eventually get on the main stage. How does that work for an individual?
Yeah, 100% true. So within our structure, it all starts online with something called game battles, which people can get to directly on the in-game menu. That's really your first step. But from there, if you're having fun and you found 3 other people who you like playing with, you can buy a team pass for an event like this, come down, and right now we have those teams who have fought through what we call the open bracket, which is hundreds of teams, hundreds of players, and they fought through to have their chance on the main stage to play against the best players and teams in the world. Even last year we saw it. We have a team called Geek United who are now established as one of the best teams in the world, but they came from nowhere to win in Atlanta last year. It's a great story for us, and right now we wish the very best of luck to those guys who are perhaps on the main stage for the first time ever.
So now, Call of Duty is not the only esport that you have out here as far as you're with Activision, right? And the Overwatch League just started this very same weekend. I mean, it's been huge. I've been watching some of the games. How's that been going? Have you had any updates on that?
Congratulations to the Overwatch team. They've had a fantastic launch to the league. A lot of anticipation out there, and they deserve every success. And hopefully that will continue. We very much focus on CWL in my team. But having watched remotely, it looks like they're off to an absolute flying start, which is great news.
So, your advice to that young kid who just got his Xbox for Christmas and he's got that fresh copy of Call of Duty, how does he make the grade? How does he get on that main stage? What's your advice to him?
Unfortunately, he'll probably need to get a PlayStation to start with for us here at the CWL. Although, obviously, love our friends in green as well. He's probably got to get a PlayStation as the first step. And then I'd say find 3 friends who fundamentally you get on with. You have a bit of chemistry with, and you can have a fun time spending a long period playing with those guys and competing and trying to improve as a group. and then hopefully you will raise your level together. But if not, if you find you're a little bit better than them, then eventually, you might have to look for even higher skilled teammates. But yeah, your first step is to find some people you have a good time with and take it from there.
And I'm guessing that all the league stats, scores, updates for upcoming league opens, MLG.com, right?
Yeah, you can go on MLG.com. You can go on CallOfDuty.com/esports. I'd also suggest following at COD World League and at MLG as well. If you're doing all of that, then you should be up to date.
That's fantastic. Kevin, thank you so much for taking the time today.
No, awesome. Thanks for coming, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Absolutely.
Look at you.
Yeah, so the most important thing that I got out of the entire interview is, unlike the NFL or all of these major sports leagues, anybody can get into this if you have the skill to play. Right. And I think that's fascinating, right? There's a very low bar to entry.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess technically, like where the NFL and the NBA, they have to go to all these, they have to have scouting departments. They have to send people out there to actually watch the kids play. I mean, I'm sure they're building up scouting departments because of, what was that kid on Dallas Fire?
Fuel,
who said some, unkind words.
Right.
That's something that I think the Overwatch League will probably start doing, where they'll kind of start vetting some of these players. Like let's say your rankings, earn you a spot. But if you're a rampaging D-bag, well, they might be like, hey, pal, you know what? Thanks, but we're going to go with this other guy who's not a PR disaster waiting to happen.
Well, but here's the thing is everything's out there online, right? Since we're talking about Overwatch, they have a very robust reporting system within the game, so they can easily find that. And all the stats are out there. All of these games have some sort of competitive league that you can get into, and those guys can easily see the numbers of an individual player and make an offer, right? Reach out to those players.
Yeah.
And so I think that's cool. And while we're talking about Overwatch, yesterday was the final of Phase 1 of the Overwatch League.
Wow.
And
so that's so we got 3 more phases after this?
3 more phases to go. So basically what they do is 12 teams. They take the top 3 teams at the end of the phase, and that was the New York Excelsior, the London Spitfire, and the Houston Outlaws.
Okay.
And then 2 of those, the number 2 and number 3 team, they play a match. The winner plays the top seeded.
Okay.
And then that winner gets, kind of wins that playoff for the phase.
Okay.
Our winner yesterday was the London Spitfire.
Oh.
They were the number 3 team, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was.
So did they get time to rest? Did they have to get their hammies rubbed and get those knuckles? I don't know.
It's
cuticles cleaned.
Absolutely interesting. You asked that question because there was a lot of controversy yesterday. Everything happened yesterday. So the final matches for the season happened during the day, and then they went that night into this playoff session.
They didn't get a nap or nothing?
No, and a lot
chugging Mountain Dew.
Well, you're talking about 12 hours of league play.
Yeah,
and even for the fans, are you going to stick around for 12 hours of game time?
Yeah, it's a bit much. I'll watch 12 hours of football on a weekend, but I mean it's all spaced out.
Right. This is all in one shot.
Stuff. You're at your house.
So a lot of fans, a lot of people reaching out to the Overwatch League saying, "Hey guys, you should take the playoffs and do them the next day, and at least give those teams a time to rest up."
Yeah, right. I mean, legitimately, if you're up at 6 a.m. and you're playing a match from 10 to say 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then they're going to have a 7 o'clock, kickoff, whatever the hell.
Right.
But I mean, your reflexes will actually probably get a little dulled by the end of that afternoon, and so then the London Spitfire's been hanging out just waiting to see who they're going to play. So, they're going to be relaxed. They're going to be, ready to play. So, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, the Houston Outlaws went in, having played previous matches that day. So,
right.
It's a lot of work on those guys, and the league is looking into it to kind of maybe for the next phase kind of reschedule those games and spread it out a little bit. So, but congratulations to the Spitfire. That was some really good action yesterday.
So now you and I were also talking about just last week about the rankings and how they break down. So we have what 4 teams or 5 teams tied for 3rd or whatever, or 4th?
Right. So there are 4 teams: the Outlaws, the Spitfire, the Los Angeles Valiant, and Seoul Dynasty all have a win-loss record of 7-3, but it's further broken down based on the win-loss tie records of the individual games themselves, right?
Okay.
So you'll have an individual match. It'll have 5 segments, just 5 maps that they go through.
Right.
And depending on how the scores of those individual maps work out, that all is playing into your final score.
Right. So, yeah, so I'm saying, like, looking at the Los Angeles Valiant, their map win-loss tie 26-13-3, and then
Correct.
beneath them Seoul Dynasty 25-16-2. So, they've got one more win on a map. So, I mean, those were the questions I wanted to get answered we were talking about last week. So that this is, where they're all technically tied for, fourth or whatever.
Or second, actually.
Second.
Yeah.
There is a breakdown.
Absolutely.
So that's good to know. I'm glad to see that they're kind of getting ahead of that. Now, what was the other thing we were talking about? Them being able to anybody can get in, right?
Right.
And it goes by the rankings. So it doesn't matter. Is it a PC? Is it Xbox? It's just the national rankings?
Right. It's just your rankings within the competitive league of the game.
So now, this last night, were they playing on PC or Xbox, or what are they playing on? I guess is my question, because I need to watch it. I was in the parade yesterday, so I didn't get a whole lot done.
So the all the games that I've seen from Overwatch League thus far, they're all playing on PC.
Okay.
But there's no reason you can't plug a controller into a PC if that's the preferred method of playing for a particular player.
Right.
I don't know why they do that personally, but
God, I hate you.
But yeah, I mean, there's events like the Call of Duty World League that came here.
Right.
There are events that happen around the world that people can go and stop by.
Okay.
You can get a team of friends, show up. If you've got the medal, if you've got the stuff, you get on the main stage.
You got the stones.
Right.
You have no marbles. All right, so and just have a quick second of silence for my son's PC. We tried to put in a new Wi-Fi card, and it ended disastrously.
The motherboard died, huh?
Yeah, bye. It's dead, Jim. So I gotta get a new one. Good times. All right, man. We need to get out of here. And what are we doing next?
So our next segment, of course, is our guest interview, and that will be Ben Dolnick, author of the Ghost Notebooks. And that's
Zookeeper.
Yes, he was previously a Zookeeper. That's from Comp Publishing.
Goat Ghosts, right?
Ghosts.
Goat Ghosts.
Oh, right.
The Zookeeper, right?
Right.
But flying pigs.
Yeah, we got an advance review copy of that, and we brought him in to talk all about it. Really good interview. So,
right. And I asked some very hard-hitting questions, as I always do. I hold everyone accountable. Feet to the flames, all that.
Right. All right, guys, stay tuned. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
Black Tie Tans, the premier mobile spray tanning professionals of New Orleans. Black Tie Tans will come to you and give you a natural glistening glow on the go. First-time customers get 20% off their first tan. Find them on Facebook at Black Tie Tans or email them at blacktitans@gmail.com to set your appointment. Going to a wedding? Going out to the club? Black Tie Tans will give you the look you need. Black Tie Tans. Tell your pale friends.
What would you do if God and the devil were playing a game and you had the winning move? The greatest time travel story ever told begins when Professor Francis Kane goes back in time to prevent the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. He blows it, gets thrown in an asylum, sells his soul to the devil, goes back to the beginning of time, takes over the entire world, gets crushed by God, then wakes up with a chance to do it all over again. Except now, he has a 5-year head start. Check out the gallery. Stay for the novels. PharaohKane.com.
Do you have a message or logo that you need the world to see? Then rely on the folks at Gretna Signworks to use their expertise to deliver your design. With over 15 years in business, Gretna Signworks can do commercial and yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, magnetic signs, vehicle graphics and lettering, and so much more. Gretna Signworks also has an exceptional network of suppliers, so no job is out of scope. Find Gretna Signworks on Facebook or visit them at 2125 Bell Chase Highway today.
Are you looking for a unique gift or geeky item? Then look no further than Silverblatt Design. They offer unparalleled etched logos in glass or stainless steel from your favorite fandoms. Silverblatt Design etches on pint glasses, tumblers, shot glasses, flasks, and more. Having trouble finding a particular logo? Silverblatt Design does custom work and gets you exactly what you're looking for. Professional attitude, great customer service, and high-quality products are available now at Silverblatt Design. Find them on Facebook or Etsy and place your order today.
Welcome back to The Week in Geek. Don't forget, you can listen to previous episodes on the iHeartRadio app at The Week in Geek Radio Show. Here are your hosts, D Squared and Brian Held.
Welcome back. You are listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. This is D Squared with
Brian Held.
And Brian, we got a very special guest on the line.
We absolutely do. Joining us is author Ben Dolnick, who recently wrote the Ghost Notebooks that's due out next week. Ben, how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Fantastic. We're glad to have you. So, this book, very interesting. Let's start out by talking about Edmund Wright. This is kind of about him. He was a 19th century writer. Now, I looked this guy up. He's not real, right?
No, he is made up. But okay. I'm glad that you had to look him up. That was the goal.
So tell me about Edmund. Who was he?
So he was, in the 1800s, a sort of jack-of-all-trades philosopher type who, like many people in the 1800s, including many very smart people, was sort of interested in the question of whether ghosts existed. A lot of people, like William James, for instance, really thought this was serious scientific business. So Edmund Wright, in my book, is a guy from the 1800s who set out to explore that question, and in the course of it, either lost his mind or met some ghosts, depending on how you look at it.
No, that's fair. Now, of course, the true focus of this book is Nick and Hannah, a young couple who, are doing all those young couple things. They get engaged, and she finds herself as the curator of the museum for Edmund Wright, correct?
Yes, exactly. They give up on New York City, and move to a small town upstate where she gets this kind of weird gig working in this museum of this writer she's never really heard of.
So, I mean, this is your fourth book. How did you come up with this idea? What drove this story?
Well, so it's going to sound more autobiographical than it is, but my wife used to work in a historic house here in Brooklyn, which meant that I spent a lot of time standing around in historic houses sort of daydreaming about, kind of what could go wrong here, which is kind of the first question a writer asks themselves. And for some reason I had a very vivid image of the house burning, which, well, I don't want to spoil my own book, but the point is that it became kind of a Rube Goldberg machine of what exactly could lead to some disastrous outcome in the house. So it was sort of reverse engineered from there. But yeah, my wife working at this place was sort of the seed that got it started.
No, that's great. And of course, my wife is a writer, and she always tells me that the writers have to ask the weird questions, right? How can this house be destroyed, right?
Exactly. Yeah. There's no question too weird or embarrassing or stupid. Yeah, you have to always think about that stuff.
Absolutely. Well, tell me about some of your other books. One had to do with zoology?
Yeah, so that was a book about a zookeeper, which I was once. I was a zookeeper in the Central Park Zoo, in the Children's Zoo, which is a sort of dinky little petting zoo with, like, ghosts and pigs and stuff. And so, yeah, that book is about a guy who works in the zoo one summer and falls in love and manages to lose his beloved goat. So yeah, that was zoology.
All right.
Wait, is there a ghost in it? Does he get like haunted by a ham sandwich or something?
No.
Okay.
This is ghost free.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And let's see, you had in 2011, you had You Know Who You Are.
Yeah. So that was kind of a series of linked short stories about a guy growing up in D.C. who loses his mother and just trying to kind of get his head on straight after that and falling in love and making a fool of himself and all of that fun stuff.
Okay.
Now, you've written some articles for GQ as well. Now, you did one on gaming addiction. Tell me about that one.
Yeah, so that was really weird. It was there turns out to be a center in Washington State for internet addiction. It's like a residential rehab place, but instead of being hooked on drugs, these people are hooked on digital products. And yeah, most of what it turns out people get hooked on is video games. So it's young men. When I was there, it was only young men. And all of them, in one way or another, had wrecked their lives with, I think all of them, or maybe all but one of them, with a particular game called World of Warcraft.
No.
These guys would, play for 18, 20 hours a day.
Holy
so
crap.
They were losing their jobs, wrecking their sleep, wrecking their family. I mean, it sounds sort of like a joke, but, when they show up at this place, they're in deep, deep trouble.
That's inconceivable.
I can see it, man.
We've all spent way too much time gaming than we care to admit. But, good Lord, 18 to 20 hours?
A day, yeah.
When do they sleep? When do they eat? Jeez.
No, it's weird. They'll be chugging Red Bull and stuff. It's really weird. I think there's some, fulcrum you tip over where your life in the game is more important than your life out of the game. As you play more and more, you have fewer real accomplishments and stuff, so you become more into these virtual accomplishments.
Yeah, I can see that where, at least there's a, you're seeing what you've done. You're getting pats on the back from the game itself, in essence. Look, I created this. I did this and technically I'm being social because I'm online with thousands of other people who have no idea who I am.
Yeah, exactly.
So, how did that cause you to reevaluate the time you spent on a computer or a smartphone?
Yeah, completely. The woman who runs the place is kind of a, Paul Revere racing around warning people that we are all in terrible, terrible trouble. That she thinks not everyone, but most people have a kind of functional addiction to their smartphones. And I kind of think she's right. That, the most interesting thing she told me was that, so of people who try cigarettes, something like 90% become addicted. And of people who try heroin, only something like 30% get addicted. And the reason for that is that the way you smoke a cigarette is with, a bazillion little puffs. And that turns out to be what our brains really like, this tiny hits of pleasure repeated over and over. And that is exactly what our cell phones do. You get that tiny little dopamine of a new email or a clever tweet or whatever it is, and so frequent that it just creates this really, really tight leash. So, yeah, I kind of believe it. The second an airplane lands, everybody panics for their phones. It's weird.
I do.
Right.
Absolutely. Now, Ben, did you see that article recently in Time? Google and Facebook employees are banding together to protect kids from social media addiction. Did you see that?
I've seen there's been some movement in that direction lately. Yeah, I'm really glad about that, actually.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Silicon Valley insiders are kind of letting the world know that this is a serious problem. We need to clamp down on that.
I guess so. I used to be addicted to Facebook, and I think I maybe look at Facebook once a day now, if that sometimes. I used to do it.
To get to that point, right?
Yeah,
they're designed, right down to the colors they choose. They are designed to hook you.
All right. Well, Ben, thank you so much for taking the time to spend with us today. Tell folks out there how they can find you on social media. How can they find out more about the Ghost Notebooks?
Yes. So after all that anti-internet talk, you can Do look me up at bendolnick.com, BENDOLNICK.com, and there you will find my Twitter, which is Ben Dolnick Books, or Facebook.com/Ben Dolnick Books. So, yeah, check it out.
Absolutely. I mean, what better way to get away from the internet than curl up with a good book, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well played.
Yeah.
You like that, huh?
I do.
And, of course, this is going to be out on newsstands February 13th, right?
Yep, 1 week from today.
Fantastic. All right. Well, Ben, thanks so much. Hang on for a second. Guys, when we get back, we're going to close out the show as we always do with This Week in Geek History. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
What would you do if God and the devil were playing a game and you had the winning move? The greatest time travel story ever told begins when Professor Francis Kane goes back in time to prevent the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. He blows it, gets thrown in an asylum, sells his soul to the devil, goes back to the beginning of time, takes over the entire world, gets crushed by God, then wakes up with a chance to do it all over again. Except now, he has a 5-year head start. Check out the gallery. Stay for the novels. PharaohKane.com.
Do you have a message or logo that you need the world to see? Then rely on the folks at Gretna Signworks to use their expertise to deliver your design. With over 15 years in business, Gretna Signworks can do commercial and yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, magnetic signs, vehicle graphics and lettering, and so much more. Gretna Signworks also has an exceptional network of suppliers, so no job is out of scope. Find Gretna Signworks on Facebook or visit them at 2125 Bell Chase Highway today.
Silverblatt Design has etched glass or stainless steel from your favorite fandoms. Pint glasses, tumblers, shot glasses, flasks, and more from Silverblatt Design. Find Silverblatt Design on Facebook or Etsy and place your order today.
Black Tie Tans, the premier mobile spray tanning professionals of New Orleans. Black Tie Tans will come to you and give you a natural glistening glow on the go. First-time customers get 20% off their first tan. Find them on Facebook at Black Tie Tans or email them at blacktitans@gmail.com to set your appointment. Going to a wedding? Going out to the club? Black Tie Tans will give you the look you need. Black Tie Tans. Tell your pale friends.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
This is The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. Follow them on Twitter at TWIG Radio. Do it now!
Welcome back. You're listening to The Week in Geek. So thank you, voice guy. He gave me the perfect segue, Brian.
What's that?
As always, I want to strongly urge you to check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/The Week in Geek. Check out our website at twigradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at Twig Radio, and the Instagram's The Week in Geek. Now, Brian, how can people listen to this lovely show?
Well, if you missed any part of tonight's show or you want to catch your favorite part again, you can always find us on Spreaker.com or download Spreaker for your smartphone or tablet. We're also on iTunes, YouTube, the iHeartRadio app, Stitcher.com, and at WRNO.com.
Yeah.
Yes, and a bunch of other places. There's a huge list.
MyWackyPodcast.com. If it doesn't exist, it probably does exist. Dear God.
Right.
All right, Brian. So, let's wrap this show up. We got to get into This Week in Geek History.
This Week in Geek History.
We're sending you back to the future!
Yes! Oh my gosh!
This Week in Geek History is brought to you by Brian Held. Brian Held's The Week in Geek. Or Jezebel Johnston. Download it. Do it. No.
Oh, man. I was doing a little live-action Jezebel Johnston recreation
on NCIS?
On NCIS.
You're gonna drop it again? You're like, I'm a celebrity. maybe regional celebrity now.
Yeah.
Moving on up.
Yeah, speaking of regional, I just want to mention this real quick. You and I both are regional guests at CoastCon next month.
Score.
Yes, that's St. Patty's Day weekend in Biloxi, and then also at CypherCon in April out in Lake Charles.
Man, we're just like all over the place, man.
We are.
All right. So, what's first?
First item on my list is...
I was about to play the rejoin again.
Right. February 5th, 1999. I put this in here for you,
Oh,
Dave.
thanks, pal.
The online Victoria's Secret fashion show attracts over 1.5 million visitors, becoming the first major webcast in history.
Wow. Who'd have thunk that people on the internet wanted to see half-naked women? That's just crazy talk.
All right. Next.
I'm sure a lot of people were probably watching it just to see, like, the stitching, see how the
fashion trends,
the craftsmanship, the current fashion trends, boudoir fashion trends.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, next item. February 6, 1940. The Radio Corporation of America, or RCA.
The one with the little puppy?
Right, yes. Demonstrates its electronic color television system to the U.S. Federal Communications Commission. That's the FCC.
Thanks. Didn't know that.
Yes. But oddly enough, the technology at the time was so unimpressive, the company canceled its plans for a public demonstration.
Wait. So they showed a color TV and somebody's like, oh, that'll never work.
Well, they showed it off to the FCC to try to, I guess, get approval, but the technology hadn't matured at that point, so they didn't do the public demonstration, and I guess they waited to refine it further.
That's just mind-boggling to me, though. It's like all you've got is black and white talking movie picture shows,
right?
And then all of a sudden it's like color, and they're like, no, that'll never sell.
Well, I mean,
who's watching these crazy television shows?
Right.
Who would want to see something in color? That's no.
People were content to just simply stare at their radios at the time.
Little Orphan Annie, get out your secret decoder rings. Drink your Ovaltine.
All right. Next one, you got to guess. All right. February 7th, 1974. Starring Cleveland Little, Gene Wilder, Harvey Korman, Madeline Kahn, and directed by Mel Brooks.
Blazing Saddles.
There you go.
Yes. Yes. God, that's a great movie.
It is a great movie and could never be made in our day now.
No way in hell. Just like Archie Bunker. That would never make it on TV
Or
now.
the Jeffersons. Yeah. Oh, man.
But, God, Mungo.
It's a very good movie. Go watch it. All right.
Half the stuff, the quotes, we can't really even say on the air.
No, we can't.
Damn you, FCC, and your color televisions.
All right. February 8th, 1924. Sees the very first coast-to-coast radio broadcast in the United States. It was made in Chicago by General John Joseph Carthy of Bell Telephone to an audience of 50 million listeners.
Holy crap.
Yeah. All the way back in 24.
Jesus. Well, how do they know that many people were listening, though? They go around asking, hey, did you catch that radio program last night?
Well, clearly the Nielsen's were around.
I think they're just exaggerating their numbers here.
No, I know. I mean, I'm sure,
Well,
maybe they based it off of sets sold.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And the one person watching on his color television. I'm not letting that go.
But they didn't. Color televisions that existed in the 24.
You don't know. Maybe the technology hasn't caught up yet. I don't know. Somebody went back to the future.
All right. Next on my list, February 9th, 1997. Is the date that The Simpsons passed The Flintstones as the longest-running U.S. primetime animated series. And I checked, as of today, 29 seasons.
God dang, man.
Yes.
That's it. I'm telling you, like, I saw an article, and I really believe it, that they really think that the creator of The Simpsons and some of the writers are actual time travelers.
Or psychic.
No, I'm time travelers.
Okay.
Time travelers. can't be psychic. Who would actually go and like psychically read, a vision of Trump on an elevator and just some random Joe Blow who looks exactly like the Joe Blow in the Simpsons commercial cartoon?
Maybe they're psychic time travelers.
Now you're just getting crazy. That's impossible.
All right, I got my last one. I've got a real old one.
Ooh,
it is February 11th, 660 BC. It is the legendary founding of Japan by Emperor Jimmu, and it's generally attributed to this very date. All the way back, there's a whole lot of Japanese mythology around that emperor being the descendant of the sun goddess,
right?
And all kind of crazy stuff. But the 11th is National Foundation Day in Japan. I just thought that was kind of cool.
Wow.
Yeah, all the way back there.
Now I want to play Shogun.
Yeah, no, it's a good game.
Yes.
All right, ready for some birthdays?
Sure.
On the 6th, Allison Hayslip. She was the correspondent for G4's Attack of the Show when it was on air.
Oh, okay.
She was also NBC reality competition series The Voice. She was on that for like a season or something like that. But she's, I think she's in Con Man, too, with Alan Tudyk.
Who isn't in Con Man?
Well,
though?
that's true. On the 6th, Charlie Heaton. He played Jonathan Byers in Stranger Things.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah. That doesn't ring a bell at all.
Right. Well, I'm trying to get some new actors and actresses in this celebrity list here.
No way. I want all our actors to be from the 60s.
Right. On the 7th, James Spader.
Stargate.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Stargate Origins, $20. You can get the new movie
premiere
that's
pass.
Origins.
Yes.
But yeah, it's only good for 3 months.
From February 15th to May 15th, you get premium access, and then it's revoked.
I mean, I've bought DVDs for $20 and then never watched them again.
Okay.
I don't know.
We'll see.
Okay.
It's a new world, Dave. On the 8th, Seth Green.
Oh, cha-ching.
Cha-ching guy.
Cha-ching.
Yeah, of course, a robot chicken.
Steve Evil. No, Scott Evil.
On the 9th, Tom Hiddleston.
Loki,
yes. And
I think I just heard an audible sigh from all of our female listeners.
Yes. Right. On the 11th, Jennifer Aniston. Yes.
Good Lord. We're the Millers. We're the Millers, the dance scene. Mm-hmm. I'll leave it right there.
All right, there you go.
Just Google that later.
Do you have enough flair?
No.
Right.
I'm going to go finish my TPS reports.
Right.
All right, Brian, so what do we have going on next week on Ye Old Week in Geek?
That's a really good question. We have scheduled as our guest is Jeff Balk. He is an animator. He is also a guest of the MightyCon event, New Orleans Comic Con, that's coming all the way in June, July time frame.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring him on. Maybe we can talk about that event coming up and what he's been working on. He's got all kind of animation stuff happening. So,
all right, sounds cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So thanks for listening. Download the podcast. Tell your friends. Tell your enemies. Definitely tell your enemies.
Yes.
Till next time, keep your nerd flag raised high.
GFL.
'Cause I got